So today is an interesting one. All I wanted to do was to look up the 10 best reviewed platformers on Metacritic, but in the process, I ended up discovering not only how flawed that Metacritic score actually is, but I ended up using Metacritic's own data to create a more objectively correct score, and that's what I want to show you guys today. For anyone who might be unaware, Metacritic is a review aggregator website. Basically, it takes all the reviews posted about a game, movie, piece of music, whatever, and averages them all together into one single ultimate metascore. And these metascores are really important. One dev from Obsidian said that his team fell short of receiving bonuses for their work on Fallout New Vegas because their game was 1 point shy of the Metacritic score marker that their studio had set for them. And I think it's reasonable to assume that these scores get used for a whole lot more than just determining bonuses internally. So yeah, the Metacritic score is an important number, but that's okay, right? It's your average score. That's got to be a pretty good representation of general consensus, right? Well, that's what I thought for a long time. I love averages. I spend half of my life in Excel and the other half in programming. Me and math get along like Ace Attorney and the number 81 on Metacritic. That's real, by the way, and it's very strange. So what's the problem? Well, I kind of always knew that the Metacritic score was not a game's literal true average, and after actually diving in and looking at what the company says on their website, I have got some beef with Metacritic. Well, I don't have beef with Metacritic. My best friend Math has beef with Metacritic. I may not be Math's strongest soldier, but I am one of its soldiers. Let's take a look. Welcome to Metacritic. Here's how we help you find the stuff you love. How we create the Metascore. 1. We curate a diverse group of highly respected critics and assign scores to their reviews. We assign the scores. Okay, that's unexpected. The weighted average of those scores results in a single number and color, the Metascore. The same coloring system that has coded all of our brains into thinking that anything that got a C or worse is automatically garbage. Also, you like how they just slipped the word weighted in there? You barely notice it, it's fine, pay it no mind. No, if you want the real write-up on how these Metascores get made, you have to go into the Help Center, Metascores, and there you can find the true explanation. We noticed that some critics consistently write better, more detailed, more insightful, more articulate reviews than others, so yeah. Ooh, Math didn't like that. Now, I may like Math a lot, but you know who doesn't like math? Subjectivity. Never mind the fact that we're not going to respect reviewers who decide to recognize how reductive it is to condense a piece of art down to a number, but that's not really the problem you'll hear most people complain about with Metacritic. In addition, some critics and/or publications have more prestige and respect in their industry than others. Respect, huh? General question for you viewers at home. Think to yourself, what kinds of video game outlets would Metacritic view as more prestigious and respected? And then ask yourself, do you agree that these are the people who should have the most impact on that coveted Metascore? Now look, I'm not gonna get conspiratorial in this video. Like, I don't think it takes a genius to come up with ways that might be problematic that this really important website favors certain publications who happen to have relationships with the game companies whose games really depend on the perception perceived from this important website. Getting antagonistic is not really what I do here. I really did just want to make a video talking about some great platformers. So that's what I'm gonna do, dang it. I'm gonna fix the broken Metascore and talk about my stupid Nintendo games at the same time. These are the top 10 platformers according to the actual average of their scores on Metacritic. I went through every top-rated platformer on Metacritic, averaged out their review scores myself, ordered them into a true top 10, and we're gonna see just how much their actual averages are skewed when looking at their Metascore. Let's go. Or should I do like a let's go, because we're gonna talk about Mario a lot. If you don't like Mario, I truly apologize for the list you're about to see. And get ready to pause the video if you like reading pace-ruining disclaimers. Number 10. So first up, we have Play Dead's Inside. I was really happy to see a cinematic platformer make it into the top 10. This subgenre is so niche, but I find them so engrossing, trying out so many mechanical ideas that you just wouldn't find in a typical run and jump game. Inside is one of those games that is brilliant in how simple it is. And I think it was a famous poet who said, "I like when it's easy to read, but it hits you hard." Now, right off the bat, this game has a Metascore of 93, but when you get its actual average, it actually falls below a 92, over a full points difference. And if you're extra observant, you may have already thought to yourself, yes, that means every platformer on Metacritic that has a 92 actually has an average that is below 92. Though Metacritic doesn't use decimals, so if we're rounding up, that can excuse a lot of these cases. But just because no platformer with a 92 got over a 92 in its actual average, that doesn't mean none of them were able to get a higher score than Inside. We got the new kid in town, Super Mario Wonder, comes in at number 9 with a 92 Metascore, actually lower than Inside. Oh, whoa, hey, it's the talking flower from Mario Wonder. What's up, man?
Hello everybody.
Oh, well, you seem more somber than usual. Aren't you glad you made the top 10?
Well, to be honest, I'm kinda just sick of all these number games these people in power keep playing.
Hey, I understand it can feel a bit disingenuous, but I did the math myself. You beat Super Mario Sunshine, Banjo-Kazooie, Rayman Legends.
Oh, I don't mean your Metacritic stuff. I'm talking about the number games that affect real life. We're about to see the biggest wealth transfer in our history, only deepening the problem that most wealth in our society is inherited and not earned. What's the incentive to work hard to better our world when so many people can make their fortunes by just moving money around? Don't get me started on how this affects elections. Super PACs have gotten out of control ever since that Supreme Court decision in 2010. With so many Americans feeling like their elected officials are just bought and sold anyway, how are we going to revitalize people's trust in democracy?
Hey, don't take this topic too far outside of video games. It can get kind of depressing when you do. I like the Wonder Flower. So coming in at number 8 is actually the same Metascore as Inside, but nearly a full point higher in the actual average. It's the incredibly fun Super Mario 3D World. One of the very few games in my life that I've 100%ed. This game is just bursting with incredible level design, great multiplayer integration, and it's so nice that the gaming world has finally come around on this game after initially being kind of underwhelmed by it. Although maybe they haven't come around yet because the mathematically, objectively superior Switch version of the game came in at 4 points lower than the Wii U version with its Metascore. So yeah, the number 8 spot is the Wii U game. The one on Switch doesn't make the cut. The Metacritic score is reflective of a game at launch for the most part, not necessarily how it ages over time. It's a potential flaw with Metacritic's system, but not really one you can fully blame them for. And besides, Mario's not done yet. So despite having an impressive 94 Metascore, Mario 64 comes in at number 7 with an even 93 for its actual average. And since I know I don't need to take any time to explain why Super Mario 64 is one of the greatest platformers ever made, I want to take this segment to interject that while I was looking up these actual averages, the games that had the highest deviance between their Metascore and their true average were games that actually came in lower on the Metascore, games that weren't just absolute champions of the genre like this. So yeah, maybe the true depth of this issue actually lies in games that aren't winning Game of the Year awards. But that's not the video topic I chose. Number 6 is Braid. There's a name maybe you weren't thinking about right away when you clicked on this video. Braid is the first game so far where its actual average of 93.21 is actually higher than its Metascore. Well done, sir. Braid is an absolute landmark of indie gaming and was nothing short of brilliant for its time. But similar to Mario 3D World, I can't help but think that if Braid was re-reviewed today, it wouldn't necessarily crack the top 10 platformers ever made, because a lot of what makes it brilliant has been emulated and imitated by other games, making this one seem less instantly impressive than it was upon release. That's just me speculating though, there is truly nothing exactly like Braid, and if you enjoy puzzle platformers, it has to be on your radar. Now we're on to number 5, and finally, another Mario game. It's about time. The original Mario 3 is too old to have its own Metascore, but luckily, people proved just how much they liked it when it was re-released for the GBA. So yeah, critics and audiences agree, Super Mario Bros. 3 is an instant classic. It's boundlessly creative and whimsical, but it still has the edge of a company and medium that hasn't quite ironed out all of its wrinkles yet. And now seems like a fine time to mention that, any other Nintendo platformer, Kirby, Donkey Kong, Yoshi, Wario Land, not here. Not even close. I think like 3 or 4 other Mario games were closer to making the top 10 than any other non-Mario Nintendo game. Are reviewers just nicer to Mario because of prestige? Probably. And I don't even think that's malicious or anything. I think that's just a normal human flaw that we would view more favorably video games that are coming to us from Mr. Video Game himself. Now, at number 4, I know none of you thought this guy was going to be here when you clicked on this video, unless you've looked up Metascores before. We don't have Crash, we don't have Spyro, but we have Sackboy. This has got to be why he's the one they decided to put into PlayStation All-Stars. I think it's fair to say that it's the robust level editor that's the reason this game got such acclaim, such a hugely impactful and innovative idea for its time, and it earned it a hefty 95 Metascore with 94.7 average. As I alluded to earlier, the higher up you go, the less deviation you're gonna see between actual average and Metascore. These are just games that people like. But, do you think maybe we could get Mario back? I'm starting to feel a little uncomfortable. I don't feel safe. Alright, we're at number 3, and here is where the math I did really starts to become important, because our top 3 today all carry the same Metascore of 97. But when you do the math, you dig into their actual average, they are so different. Third place is coming in with the piddly little rinky-dink average of 96.088. And such is the shameful fate of Super Mario Odyssey. Absolutely disgusting. Yoshiaki Koizumi needs to be hunted down and imprisoned for the shameful video game. Now, in all seriousness, it is surprising to see a game so high up in the ranking have nearly a full point difference in its Metascore from its actual average, but it's still well over the score and average of Little Big Planet, so its spot is well earned. I mean, it was the big fat Mario adventure fans wanted. What can I say? It supercharged both the Switch and Nintendo. It felt like it breathed new life into the series and this company. It was just a moment that the entire gaming industry felt like it could get behind. I never really noticed before how difficult it is to talk about the acclaim of this game without saying things that really are better attributed to Breath of the Wild. Alright, hi, we're at number 2, but we're actually done with the countdown. You already know what number 1 and 2 are, you're just curious what order they're gonna come in, right?
Well, I don't know what they are.
Oh, hey, you're back. How you doing?
My life's great.
Great, but come on, you have to know who the top 2 are.
I mean, I have an idea.
Okay, yeah, that's good enough. On 3?
Okay.
1, 2, 3. Mario
Metroid
Galaxy.
Prime.
Metroid Prime?
Yeah, Metroid Prime. Doesn't it have like a 97 or something?
Okay, yeah, so originally there was a version of this video where I included Metroidvanias in the platformer category, ultimately decided to leave them out, in part because even if I did, the only game that would have made it is Metroid Prime, which would have come in at an impressive 3, with a 97 Metascore and 96.3 actual average. And Metroid Prime Remaster would have been number 6 with a 94.3. Super impressive stuff. But I'm gonna talk about Mario Galaxy now, okay?
Sure, man, I'm just a flower.
Okay, so in the end, it's Mario Galaxy 1 that ends up on top with an average of 97.45. And Mario 2 is closely behind with an equally impressive 97.39. The only games other than Braid today that actually have a higher average than Metascore. More than any other game here, I know I don't need to explain to you guys why Mario Galaxy 1 and 2 are some of the greatest platformers ever made, but the absolute best? I mean, that's a different level of just nutso-butso acclaim that these two games have now. A topic obviously worth its own video, worth 10 videos all on its own. But if I can take some educated guesses real quick, I think it really helps that the game has a very unintrusive gimmick that allows just the core Mario gameplay to really shine and be at the forefront. And besides that, honestly, I think it's the fact that it focused on a really cool and epic vibe. And the reason I say that is because most reviewers, well, certainly not all, are adult males. And at least in my head, it makes sense to me that that demographic would favor the huge, epic, galaxy-spanning adventure with Star Wars music over a jubilant, juvenile jaunt through sappy, saccharine, silly land.
Hey, come on, man. It's not like we get to choose where we get planted.
I'm sorry, but, you know, I'm almost done here. How about I buy you a beer when I'm done? Just congratulations on top 10, man.
Oh boy, I sure do love booze and getting wasted. You got yourself a deal. I'll go head on over right now.
So, what did we learn today? The Metacritic Metascore is absolutely, positively not a true reflection of an objective average that a game has received from reviewers. Saying one game was better received than another because its Metascore is higher might not even be true. And this seems like it might be even more true the more mixed a game's reception was. Today we mostly talked about universally praised titles. I kinda do want to dig into those instances where the difference between the two numbers is just so egregious and see just how bad this problem can get, though to be honest I'd really rather just put the research into finding out what the highest rated games of other genres are, so we'll see where this goes. Maybe expect more of that. I'm not a journalist, I just like Mario. And Donkey Kong, but that didn't turn out to be as relevant today as I hoped it would. Bye!